I don't know, it just kind of seems like things keep happening. And I don't know why, I don't know what is going on, but things keep happening.
My wife and I were having that conversation a couple of days ago, how something must be on us, something must be following us. And I think one of the commenters even said that. We brought in the new year in Tulum, Mexico. And basically on New Year's Eve, we went to go see something we had never seen before. What they doing, they burn a scarecrow looking person in Tulum to ward off the evil spirits at midnight. And so we kind of linked that. Ever since that,
crazy things has been happening to us.
Right.
Like really bad things. Like if you guys have followed us, you know that this is not our usual lives. Like we don't have a whole lot of drama in our everyday life, but this year it's been completely different.
And we know it was the year of the, what was the thing again? Retrograde. So it was the year, clearly it was the year of retrograde for us, and the event happened literally when retrograde started. And of course it started that year, like I just said, with a scarecrow burning at midnight to show like spirits being burnt away. So it seems like someone, like one of the commenters said, we stepped into a portal as opened and following us, and they want us to get a shaman and get rid of something.
I don't know, it definitely seems like
weird.
Something is on us and it is not trying to let us go. And it's, I don't know, it feels kind of scary.
Right? It's weird.
It feels kind of weird because like we said, this is not our life. Like I don't know the tradition of Mexico. I know that we went out there and, you know, we tried to experience something different. I don't know if we stood too close to the flames when it was happening or what, but geez Louise.
I guess we didn't go off subject, but hey, we also have an update for you guys. Today is, not today, but we're going to tell you how court went.
Yeah, so you guys know that we were granted a temporary restraining order, and 10 days after the temporary restraining order, both parties have to appear in court. Okay, so as if this couldn't get any crazier, right? We get to the courthouse and we can't find the court, like the hearing, the room that it's gonna actually be held in. So we go back to the place where we got the restraining order and we speak to someone that works there. They mentioned to us that Mr. Carrington, the guy who assaulted Faustino, had come in on Friday to get a restraining order placed on Faustino for whatever reason.
A week after
the situation had taken place. Now keep in mind, it took place on the 11th. On like the 15th, this guy called the Animal Protection Service on us. On the 18th or something, he went to the courthouse to make up this crazy report that he needs a
protection order against me.
Restraining order.
Oh yeah, a restraining order against me. As we're asking for direction, the clerk tells me this happens
a lot.
People come back and put restraining orders back on people for putting restraining orders on them. And she says, I was gonna serve you, and they were gonna serve you in court, but I'll just walk this up there and give it to the judge.
So we went to court, and when we walked up the stairs, the guy and his wife were already there.
Yeah.
I didn't notice him, and Daniel didn't notice them, but Faustino noticed immediately.
Yes.
And I don't know how, because the guy, he looked completely different.
He was sitting on the bench in front of the courthouse. Courthouse hadn't opened yet, and we kept going. I saw him, and we sat on the bench outside the other courthouse, and I'm like, that's him. He shaved his head to look like a mohawk. Yeah, and I'm like, wow, he looks like he's ready for battle. Like Tenaj said, I'm like, okay, that's weird.
It was freshly done. Like this is not the same guy that we saw
in the video. No,
the day of.
He got that big razor, and he did that this morning, thinking he was going to war or combat or something. But anyway, we're sitting outside the court. 5 minutes later, the sheriff comes by, unlocks the court door. He gets up like this.
Right. Like an old man. It felt as if he was going into like a compensation hearing or something, and he had to prove to the judge that he was injured in order to be paid. But I think that what we figured out is that he wanted to portray someone other than the person that he really is. Let's just say that. So once we make it into court, we go our separate ways on different sides of the court. He sits on the left side with his wife, Faustino. I and Daniel sit on the right side, and we're ready. We have our evidence, we have our thumb drive, we have our MacBooks, like we have everything. This guy has a book sack and he has something else, and I'm like, what kind of evidence can he possibly have? Like, he has nothing. I mean, he has absolutely nothing. Nope. So anyway, we get up there, and as soon as we sit down, the judge asks, well, she says, I've had a chance to review both statements. So I'm gonna ask you, Mr. MMcCain, to tell me what happened. So Faustino begins to tell his story, like what happened. You know, it was 8:30 in the morning, I took Gypsy out to pee, saw the guy walking down the street. He was in the street. He had one dog, his wife had two dogs. You guys have heard the story multiple times. You've seen the video. Faustino tells the judge, you know, what happened, and then I'm looking at the faces of not only the judge, but the stenographer and
court clerk,
the
sheriff.
So I'm looking at their faces, and as Faustino is telling the brutal story of this attack, they're making, like, they're grimacing the entire time. So when they finally speak to Mr. Carrington, he starts off and she says, okay, so, you know, tell me what happened. And he starts off and he's like, well, my wife and I were walking, and it was in the morning. We were, I don't know, arguing or something, about a deep conversation about something, and we were walking on this one particular street, and then we made a left on this other particular street, and blah blah. And she was like, "Mister, can you just? I just need you to get to what happened when you saw Mr. MMcCain." So he starts on some more, and I'm thinking that this can't possibly be the same guy whose profile I'd seen on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, it's this
guy. Like, you're lying somewhere. Either your accolades are false, or what you're doing right now is for show, because it just doesn't add up.
It does not add up. I agree with that.
It is comical.
If anyone had a LinkedIn page that he has, he should be running Facebook. But anyway, he goes on to tell how he sees me, and I think he states, beware of the safety of your dog. Yes, he's like, Mr. Bridgington, beware of the safety of your animal.
I'm like, this guy.
And now we're sitting over there like,
no, what? That didn't happen.
You on the sidewalk right now, motherfucker. Motherfucker, they in the goddamn road. But you want to be in the goddamn drive, yesterday was the fucking dog that's fucking sitting there.
He goes on to tell his version of events that morning. I'm going to paraphrase as to what he made it sound like. Sire, Mr. Bridgington, beware of your animal. That's what he made it sound like.
That's basically what he told the judge that he said. But we've all heard the audio, and we know what he really said.
Right. She then asked me that she noticed that I had injuries. And I said, yeah, I went to the emergency room, immediately, and then I had an appointment Friday. And she's like, oh, you went to the doctor again? She's like, yeah. Oh, you have medical records? Like, yeah, I do. So she asked for the medical records. And the sheriff comes and gets the, the medical records, brings them up to her, and she's looking over it.
She asked if he had any more evidence or anything, and he didn't have any evidence. We had our computer with us. So on our computer, we had the video that you've seen a million times. And we had to play that in court. So the sheriff came over and she got the computer.
And when we mentioned to the judge video evidence, he looked shocked. Like, at the corner of my eye, I can see him like, huh? I'm sitting on the right side of the bench, and Tenaj actually closer to them. So Tenaj has to kind of like reach over there with the sheriff and hit the play button for them. I don't think he knew there was video evidence until we showed up with a laptop.
I don't think he knew that there was video evidence, because the expression on his face just was in shock himself. He's listening to it and he's looking at it and he's just making faces. Like,
Right.
it was crazy to see, like, to be in the moment and to see him, like, realizing, oh, okay, well, they actually have evidence of me acting a fool.
And it's like completely different from what he had just said, how he had greeted me that morning.
Like, he wasn't aggressive at all. Like, he wanted you to beware of the safety of your dog.
Right. Like,
you know, just so...
It was just amazing as I'm looking at the faces of everyone as to just hearing the foul language he was saying, contradicting the story that he just gave.
From some other source other than TMZ, which was alerted.
You slipped up there, didn't you, Miss Heard? You let it slip out.
He literally got caught lying in court, saying totally the opposite of what really happened.
Answers. I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
After the judge hears all of the evidence, then she says, and Mr. Carrington, I see that you filed for a restraining order against Mr. MMcCain. And she says, after hearing all the evidence and listening to both testimonies, I'm going to dismiss your restraining order because I see that it was done just in retaliation to the restraining order that Mr. MMcCain has filed on you. Now, this is the second thing that he's done.
Another false report.
Right. Like, where does it stop? When does it stop? Does it even stop?
Can't stop. Won't stop.
Because you can do that in East Baton Rouge Parish.
But I feel like he's doing that because, one, because he doesn't feel any remorse, and that's the most dangerous type of person to deal with, like somebody that can do something like that and then not feel remorse. Like, I feel as if he thinks that you harmed him, so he wants to make you pay. He's gonna go and file a restraining order, and he's gonna go and call the Animal Protection Service, and it's like,
what's next?
he feels like he's been wrong, and that to me is kind of crazy.
The best part about that, I would say, had we lost the restraining order judgment, we would have had to pay our $600 filing for the restraining order fee. But because we won, he has to pay, and because he filed the restraining order in retaliation, and he lost his retaliation case, he has to also pay his $600. So I guess he likes spending $1,200 on a Friday. That's a good way to start the weekend.
That's weird. That's what we're thinking anyway. I don't know. I don't know. This guy is. It seems to me that this guy is.
Bad decision.
Clearly doesn't like us. He doesn't like Gypsy. He has a history of making bad decisions, and he shows no remorse. And you put all that together, and you're dealing with a dangerous person, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Somehow the sheriffs
still don't see it.
No evil, see no evil, hear no evil sound.
Just will not do anything.
But the judge that clearly went to more training,
and that's
higher
what we're
education.
Thinking. Well, we're thinking, okay, so this is what it is. Like, the sheriffs, a lot of sheriff's officers, they get the job like out of high school. It's a job, it's something to do. But then you have, the people that make the big bucks, like the judges and things like that, where they go to school longer, and they are taught a little bit more, they know a little bit more, they have more experience. And we was able to get a judge that was very educated, absolutely love her.
Yes,
And she was able to look at the evidence and see that this guy was totally inappropriate in his actions.
Yeah.
She actually said, if you had a problem with the dog or the dog's owner, then you should have picked up the phone and called the police at that time. At no time that you have the right to take it into your hands and attack this man. So she granted Faustino like a lifetime restraining order. You know how hard it is to receive a lifetime restraining order? At first it was just a restraining order, but then she looked at it and she said, okay, well, I want to revise it. I want it to be a lifetime because of like the brutality,
the behavior behind it, just everything. Yeah, so she enforced it. So
she actually said, sir, I suggest you find you another route to walk your dogs.
And she also court mandated anger management classes.
Anger management. She ordered that he has anger management classes, because who goes from 0 to 1,000 so quickly. Not somebody that you really want in society, like somebody you want in the community.
Making decisions for you
and
for your business.
He also still has a gun on him. So somebody that makes all kind of crazy decisions, has a short temper, you know, it's okay with assaulting people, still carries a gun. It just doesn't seem safe to me.
Then I guess court ends, you know, judge walks out, does her thing, makes her judgment, and then we were like, you know, I felt victorious. I know we felt victorious.
This is Sparta!
And it just felt great. It felt good, and we that finally
somebody
saw like the wrong and was trying to rectify it and justify and, you know, bring justice to something, because this doesn't look right.
Right, because before this point, like, we were completely done with Baton Rouge and any of the officials, because it seems like, you know, this guy who is not even from Louisiana, mind you, he's not even from here. Like, he just moved here like 6 months ago. So this guy who is not even from here and has, you know, all these different run-ins with authority can come down here and do something like this and there's no consequences. But we finally felt that, damn, somebody is listening, somebody is really trying to protect us. And, you know, we are forever grateful for her for looking at the evidence and making a decision that this guy is he needs anger management classes. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I don't like to look in the mirror as much because I know it's swollen because I still feel some pains. But I think I don't want to look as much because I know it's not how it originally was. And I could see small differences, especially around my nostril area, where you could see one nostril is kind of, I guess, open, like normal flared, and the other one is kind of like crushed. So I don't like look in the mirror as much. I don't say, I kind of like glance at it away because I don't want to see it like this. I'm hoping it just looks like this because it's swollen.
It looks way better than it did. It doesn't look the way it was.
I cringe every time she says things like that because I see that nose, I see that picture where my nose was like, and like 3, so it's like, I remember that.
Right now we are dealing with the aftermath of the situation. Faustino is still healing. We are still healing. It's gonna be a long road, but
still seeking justice through other means, and we'll keep you updated on that. We're gonna try to get back to some normal,
regular
vlogging.
I told Faustino the other day, it's like as soon as I start to feel normal and regular again, something else happens. So I don't even know if I want to say regular, but we're gonna show you some stuff that we've been doing in between, and
show a lot of new products that we've been getting.
It's just kind of hard. It was definitely hard to do the product reviews because you guys know Faustino does the product reviews, but who wants to, you know, have somebody review their products with 2 black eyes and a broken nose? So that's been put on hold. So now that his face is getting back to, you know,
normal, better. Well, it's not normal because it'll never be normal. I'm sure at an older age I'll start snoring, but anyway.
I'm just playing.
See what I'm saying?
Okay, so now that things are clearing up, let's just say that, then we have a chance to kind of get back into things, and still got to deal with this on the side. So
So if you like today's video, make sure you hit that like button, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe.
And hopefully you guys won't be seeing any more bloody thumbnails or anything, or us crying and stuff, because I'm tired, child. Look, of all that, I'm ready to
just do some regular, normal.
Get back to Tenaj and Tino travels. Okay, so anyway, I guess we're out. Where's Pat? She's sleeping.
All right, then, guys. Deuces.
Deuces. It just started to feel like home, and then this happens.
Yeah. My work just constantly worried.
If you don't shut your stupid ass up.
I don't know what to say.
Clearly.
I waited because I wanted to like.
No, that's fine, but then say something.
Look, that's what came to my mind. Fuck what to say.
Okay. So